Hey guys, it's Victoria, your MarTech specialist, and today I'm going to walk through Testimonial Tree for you. So starting here on my Okta dashboard, you should have a tile for Testimonial Tree. It is probably down towards the bottom unless you've rearranged anything. But to get into it, you're just going to click here. It's single sign-on, no password, and it should open it up right into the back end of Testimonial Tree. So as you can see here, I have two testimonials on the left-hand side. I have one survey on the right-hand side, and one of those testimonials is actually coming from this survey. The surveys are triggered by Dotloop to go out to your clients after you close a transaction, and I'll show you how that all works. But basically, there's a short couple of questions, whether they're a buyer or a seller. There's different surveys, and then there's a spot for them to leave you a 1 through 5-star rating and give a testimonial. If you do nothing else to your account but have the surveys go out triggered by Dotloop, when your clients fill it out, if they give you a 4 or 5-star rating, it will automatically go onto your Talk to Tucker website. Now there are a couple other places that we can have them go as well, and I'm going to walk through all of that. But like I said, if you do nothing else, it'll at minimum go to your Tucker website as long as they give you a 4 or 5-star. If they give you a 1 through 3-star, it does not get published anywhere. There's also a language filter, so if somebody were to give you a 5-star and then dog you in the comments, it won't show up. So the first thing I want to do is actually show you what it looks like. So I'm going to navigate over to a website. This is KB. Many of you probably know him. He's a manager at the Noblesville office. And if I scroll down on his website just a little bit, there's a spot here for testimonials. Now we could always add testimonials manually on the back end through the toolbox, but these ones are actually coming directly from Testimonial Tree. And the reason that we know that is the stars that are up above on here. So if I hover over this, it stops scrolling, but I can keep scrolling manually. And you can see all of these have 5 stars. Woohoo, go KB. But this one doesn't. This is an old one. This was one that he had manually put in before we adopted Testimonial Tree in March of 2026. So again, this is what they will look like. Okay, let's get back into Testimonial Tree. So here we go. All of my data is fake for the sake of training. So you can see that I have only given myself 1 stars on all of this. That just means that it's not going to go anywhere. I didn't want this to go and be posted anywhere online. So before we get into that a little bit, let's walk through this menu down the left-hand side. So right now we're on our dashboard. If I come down to widgets here, if you have an external website that you would like these to go to as well, you can configure a widget. You have a couple of, well, honestly, you have quite a few different styles to choose from. You come in, you configure the widget, it gives you the code, and then you can put that code into your website or give it to your developer or whoever manages your external website. Okay, for the most of us though, this place that you are probably going to spend the most time is this next one down called Testimonials. When I open that, I get 3 options. I get Manage, Add, and Collect. I'm going to go to Manage first. And it's exactly what it sounds like. This is where you can manage your testimonies. Now you can't delete any of them, but I have the ability to delete them, and so does Paige in training. So if you need us to do that, we can. But you do have the ability to edit them. So I had one agent who the client had made a typo when they left the testimony. She just went in and edited that typo. But I would, of course, caution against anything unethical. But it was just a simple typo. She corrected it, so it looked good. Also under Actions here, though, you will see that I have the option to generate an image. If I click on that, it gives me several different templates that I can choose from over here on the left-hand side. But if it's a testimony that I'm really proud of, I could have it create this graphic for me. I download the image, and then I have a really nice image that I can throw on social media. So Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, whatever. Obviously, I wouldn't use this one, but you get the picture, right? Okay, so that is Manage. If you have any questions about it, let me know, but it's pretty straightforward. The next one down is add. This would be if you have any testimonies that you have already gotten somewhere else that you would like to copy and paste into here and then have it go onto your Tucker website and the other places. So you can see right here, you're just going to copy and paste, give it a 1 through 5 star rating, put in the client's name, information. You can even custom date, and time stamp it, and then hit save. And that's all that you have to do there. The next one down though is collect. This allows you to manually request testimonies from past clients. So I wouldn't do it for any of your transactions that are moving forward. I would let those be triggered by Dotloop to send out the surveys to your clients. But if you wanted to go back into 2025 or the first quarter of 2026 and reach out to clients and ask for their feedback, this would be a great way to do it. It would be a great reason to reach out for a touch and connect with those clients. So you have two options. You can either click this button here that says send manual request. And when you do that, you get an option to send it via email, via text message, or via both. So if I say both, it's going to give me a spot to put in my client's name, my client's email, and my client's phone number. There's even a spot where you can put in a suggested testimonial, but if I hit create, it automatically goes out. The emails do look like they're coming from you. You are the sender, and it basically says, Victoria Thomas of the FC Tucker Company would like your feedback, yada, yada, yada. The same thing is similar with the text messages, but they do come from a random phone number. But they very specifically state, I sent one to myself, and it said, Victoria Thomas of the FC Tucker Company would like your feedback. Here's a link. You could also give your clients a head up. Hey, I'm going to send you something. I'm going to text it to you. It is legit. It is from me. Okay. The other way, if you didn't want to send it directly through Testimonial Tree, is this option right here that says send a request from your email. You get this big long URL, which if you come over here to the right and click on the little papers, will copy the whole thing for you. And then you could navigate over into your email, draft an email, paste this in. I would probably even hyperlink it so it was prettier than all of this like long URL, and send it out that way. I've had a couple of agents do this via close and use the mail merge function so they can send multiple emails all at one time to multiple people. It of course puts the client's name so it looks like you sat down and wrote them an individual email, and they've had a really good luck getting a pretty big response doing it via close with a mail merge. Okay, so that is collect. Again, great reason to reach out to clients and touch them, quote unquote. Okay, next one down is surveys. There's really nothing that you have to do for that one, but the one below that is review generation, and I'm going to go to manage. This is where you can configure third-party sites. They don't automatically push the testimonials to these sites, unfortunately, because they require a registered user in order to leave a review, but it gives your clients the option to share to those sites once they've left a review via Testimonial Tree. The big ones that people are using are your Google business page, your Zillow profile, and if you have a Facebook business page as well. So you don't have to do anything with this one here that says Testimonial Tree. I honestly don't know why they put it here. You can ignore this guy. But if you want to configure the others, there is a wizard for 2 of them. So the ones that are the easiest is if you come up here and you click on Configure Third-Party Sites, scroll down a smidge, and it's going to give you a wizard for your Google business page and your Zillow profile. So when I click on Google Business, I can do both at the same time, but for the sake of this example, I'm going to do one at a time. I'm going to hit continue, and then right here, it's going to have you go to your Google Business page, grab the review URL, so that's the URL that you can use to send to other people to leave reviews. You're going to paste it here, you're going to hit next, and it basically sets it up. If you want to do your Zillow, it's very similar. You're going to say you're a real estate agent, and then it's going to ask for 2 URLs. It's going to ask for the actual URL of your Zillow profile, and then it's going to ask for the same review URL for your Zillow page, just like your Google. Okay. Once you've configured both of those, let me go back. You will see them, you'll see them here underneath Testimonial Tree, and you'll want to toggle on both of these. What this means is that we can share from Testimonial Tree to those sites if your client chooses. That's what the generation one is. And then the monitoring means that if you already have any reviews on those sites, they'll actually flow back into Testimonial Tree, where you can monitor them just like all of the others that would be created in Testimonial Tree. And it allows them to then go on to your Tucker website as well. The one that's a little funky is Facebook. There's no wizard for that one. You just click on Add New Site up here. You see from the drop down, Facebook is here. Google and Zillow are here too, but I think that the wizard is easier to use. But you can do Facebook here. Same kind of thing, URL, blah, blah, blah. Okay. All right. That is for third-party profiles. And again, the reason that they don't allow them to just flow onto those platforms is because, like, Zillow says, hey, you have to be a registered user to leave a review. Google says the same thing. Facebook says the same thing. But I want to show you what it looks like. So I submitted a review for KB, and when I did it, this is what I got. I got a, hey, thank you, thanks for your valuable feedback. And then down here, it showed me my testimonial. There's a button here for a call to action to click to copy my words. And then it says, please click the links below to share your testimonial. So KB had configured his testimonial tree for his Zillow profile, which is this little logo here, and his Google business profile, which is the little logo next to it. So what I did was I clicked copy to copy my words. I clicked on the little Google logo, and it took me directly to his Google business page. And when I got there, there was a space. It brought this right up for me to, again, give him 1 through 5 stars and paste my words and hit post. Now, I was already logged into Google, so it didn't prompt me to log in, but if your client was not logged in, it would prompt them to log in or create an account if they didn't have a Google account. I know it's a little bit of an extra step for the client, but I do think that if you set up that expectation and just say, hey, I would really appreciate it if once you fill this out, you can click down at the bottom, share it on my Zillow or my Google or my Facebook or whatever you'd like to configure, and I would really appreciate it. Okay, so there's that guy. The one that does work a little bit differently is if you have a Realtor.com page. Realtor.com says, hey, no worries, we can automatically post any of the testimonials that you get directly to our website. We're cool with that. So the way to configure that one is up in the right-hand corner. You should see your photo. It's coming from the toolbox. You're going to click on that, and you're going to click on Account. Now, over here on the right-hand side, you have this thing called a GUID number. It's a global identifier, I think is what it stands for. It's a really long number. So again, if you just click on the little pieces of paper here, it'll copy that whole big thing. Then what you're going to do is you're going to hop over into your Realtor.com profile and paste it. And here's where you're going to paste it. So when you're on your Realtor.com, make sure it's Realtor.com Pro account. That's for the agents. Over on the left-hand side, under Profile, you're going to see Recommendations. When you're on that Recommendations page, over on the right-hand side, it's kind of hidden down here, but there's a spot where it says Testimonial Tree. You're going to click Connect, and then this box up here at the top is going to pop up. You're going to paste in that big long number, hit Connect, and they will start talking to each other. Okay, so like I said, Realtor.com, they will automatically push to that website as well. All right, last thing back here on profile settings, you can make sure that your name and everything is correct here. I do want to mention one more thing. Because the surveys are triggered by Dotloop, your Dotloop email and your testimonial tree email have to be the same. So everybody's testimonial tree, I believe, is set up under first.last@talktotucker.com. You can see mine is right here. Now I can't change that because that would break the single sign-on and it would break the purpose of Okta and you wouldn't be able to get in. However, if your Dotloop email is not what you see right here, you can send me an email or you can send Testimonial Tree an email. It's support@testimonialtree.com and basically say, hey, my Dotloop email is different. Can you please add this email, whatever your Dotloop email is, to my Testimonial Tree account, and it will fix that issue. So again, you can email them directly or just shoot me an email, victoria.thomas@talktotucker.com, and I'm happy to have Testimonial Tree do that for you. If you had an additional email, it would show up down here. And I think it counts for any aliases as well. So if you have an email that's like first initial last name at talktotucker.com, we still need to add it as an additional email. Okay. That's pretty much everything right here. You can add some social media pieces down here if you would like, but that's pretty much it for this. The last thing though is to make sure that your settings in Dotloop are correct. So this is kind of their little checklist to make sure that the surveys are triggered via Dotloop for Testimonial Tree. So the very first thing is once your listing or your purchase, your transaction has closed in Dotloop, we need to make sure that the status of the loop is marked as sold and it needs to stay in sold status for at least 48 hours. When you mark it as sold, you're going to get a couple other pieces of info that pop up here, and one is the closing date. So you have to be sure that you accurately put in the closing date. So put your loop status as sold and then put in your closing date when the little space for it pops up. Every night, Testimonial Tree looks at our Dotloop and looks for transactions that are newly in sold status. But if the rest of the information is not filled out, it still won't send. So sold status, accurate closing date. If you then scroll down to the people section in your loop, only the people who have been designated seller or buyer and have an email address, which they should in Dotloop, will get the request for feedback. So if you have other people in your loop, you have the agent on the other side, you have loan officer, title rep, whatever, they will not receive anything. It's just the people who are designated buyer or seller. Okay. The testimony request also goes out for whoever is listed as the listing agent or the buying agent. So what that means, if you're on a team and you are used to giving yourself co-agent status, you kind of want to stop doing that. Because if you put your team leader as the listing agent and you put yourself as the co-agent, when your client receives the request for feedback, it's going to come from your team leader. Instead, when you click on this little drop down to give somebody a role, the role of team lead is actually an option. So we've been advising people, give your team leader the role of team lead, and then give yourself listing agent or buying agent. Again, that just ensures that when the request goes out to the client, it's coming from you, it's asking about you, how did I do, and you get it, and then it goes to your Facebook or your Tucker website, right? So again, sold status, accurate closing date, buyers or sellers only, make sure you are the listing agent or the buying agent, and make sure to give yourself a role, because if you don't, it looks at it as like an incomplete document or an incomplete transaction, and it won't trigger it to go out. Okay, I think I've hit everything, but if you have any questions, please, feel free to reach out, victoria.thomas@talktotucker.com, and I hope you have a great day, and I hope you go out and get some fantastic testimonials.